Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you guys are doing well. How you doing? Let me know down in the comments. How's the vibes these days? let's see how each other we're doing. But today we have a little bit of an interesting topic. This question I get asked so many times. It is so concerning to people how I ate and what did I eat while I was traveling throughout Canada in my car. It has changed throughout the years, I would say. Um, my eating habits. Oh my God, can I talk? My eating habits, the way I ate, how I ate, and why I ate certain things, um, has really changed throughout it. But let's go ahead and start a little bit from the beginning. So, when I first was thinking about eating and how to cook and what to cook, in the beginning of my travels, it was with the intention because I did start again in the winter, and I know myself. So, thankfully, I know myself. So I know that I like making warm food. I am a cook. I am a foodie. I don't like saying foodie because it just sounds like you want to go out and spend money on food and like not make it. But like I like making my own food. I enjoy it. I like I like my taste. Um, Not to say that buying food outside is bad, but I have more control and I can see like what I see and what I make is what I ingest. I'm not questioning what oil did they use and if they used cheese and if they didn't use cheese like so it's just a lot more controlled and yeah. So when I was first considering the things to bring on my travels, I really thinking of things that were non-perishable. So I remember and I brought a whole stock, excuse me, of tuna. I stocked a lot of tuna because I do like fish, and I stocked a lot of like canned food. So beans, I'm very into beans. I stocked coffee. I remember I made like my own spice blend. That was really funny. One for hot foods and then one for cold foods because I like make myself like salads and stuff like that, bean salads. So I was just stockpiling out of like non-perishable items. Again, try to maintain as healthy as possible. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm very like strict and like as my mom would say too. I'm very like routine and organized and like very like I have these specific days to do specific things and that's how I am. So I feel like I wouldn't have lasted so long if it wasn't because of that nature that I have in myself instilled. So I'm very much a person who like in the middle of the week I'm going to be eating healthy with the goal of eating healthy and like no sugar. And like on the weekends I do let myself go. I do let myself like enjoy the chips, enjoy the chocolate, enjoy the fried food. So for me it's more of like a balance thing. Um, so yeah, and because of that, I am able or I was able to kind of like plan out and structure the way that I was going to be making food. I did buy myself a cooler. Just a little small one. The little small ones that like construction workers take for the lunches. The little red small one. The Coleman, I believe, was the brand. Um, I had planned from day one to not buy ice. I'm not an ice. Like I don't like. I think it's just a waste to be honest. And the fact of it being wet, it's not for me. So mainly what I packed in that Coleman, in that cooler was basically just like storing vegetables. So I did end up buying lots of vegetables that did get placed on there. But the main thing that everyone is really concerned about is that what did I do in regards to cooking? So in the beginning of my trip, I did mention before that I had a kettle. It was like a small little electrical kettle from Amazon. I thought it was gonna work with my battery pack. It didn't end up working with battery pack, sadly. So it actually ended up harming my battery pack because of that. I was not taking into account properly the voltage. So learn from that. Take a look at the voltage because you don't want to fuck that up. Till today, my battery does not charge the same, sadly so. But that water kettle, because it was, and hopefully I have a picture I can put up here, but because that water kettle was like, it had the base, right? The base where you like get to attach the water kettle, and you plug it in, and thankfully so, the base was retractable. You can retract the cable, um, and the kettle itself was literally the perfect size of my hand. So it wouldn't look too weird if I was carrying it around. It kind of looked like a big mug, to say. And it was very kind of like inconspicuous. It didn't really look like a water kettle if you took it out of the base. It just looked like a little mug, you know? Like it was great. So it was a little light blue one. I still have it. And the inside is stainless steel. My only concern was that there was a little bit like little small little hole crevices at the top, so I had to be really vigilant on like not overflowing. But basically in the beginning of my trip, especially because it was cold, I didn't make a lot of soups. I did make a lot of noodles, thankfully. So it was so good. I was like literally chopping up my tomatoes. Like I'm not playing with you. I was cooking. I was cooking. I was chopping my tomatoes in my little plastic because I didn't want to bring so much stuff. So the little glass containers that I had, which I don't use them anymore because it was just, I remember it was just too much of a hassle with the glass. Um, but I ended up using the lid of the glass container, which was plastic, as my cutting board. Not great. I understand that. I already bought something new. We'll discuss a little bit later. But I use that lid of the plastic container as my cutting board. So I would store the cut up vegetables too, in that container. So it would be like a 2-for-1. So as I was cutting my vegetables on that thing, on the plastic lid, I would put them into the pot, right? The little water kettle, and I would begin to cook it. Now the water kettle, of course, it heats up to one point and then it doesn't. So I would put water and kind of make a soup, right? Again, I had my spices with me. Sometimes I would crack an egg in my soup and it would make like a little egg, like extra protein. Sometimes put tuna in there. Sometimes put beans in there, like some chickpeas or like frijoles, some black beans. Some good stuff. And of course, garlic. Ah, I love garlic. And I think the secret to my youth, and it's gonna be for life, I know it, is garlic. I just love it. Bathe me in garlic, I swear to God. Now, funny I mentioned that because knowing how much I love garlic and knowing how much I like my spices, it had to like, yeah, the smell had to go somewhere, you know. So if I was cooking in my car, especially on a hot day, and a cold day, oh my god, on a cold day, if I was cooking in my car, I was making this soup in my water kettle because I was forcing it in the beginning with my battery pack. It it would steam up my car, and I would be going to sleep with the smell of garlic. Didn't really bother me that much. Not really. Again, I enjoy it. But people would notice, especially in the beginning when my friends would like to look in my car, they can tell that I had some food in there. Whatever, dude. Excuse me. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, but later on I ended up, as I said before, I ended up going to like McDonald's and like Tim Hortons. If y'all know Tim Hortons, like a Dunkin' Donut, but it's not. Libraries to be cooking this soups in my kettle. It was a little bit easier to hide, especially in like McDonald's, or especially McDonald's. McDonald's was a prime because it was loud with kids, lots of young people who didn't give a fuck, and because it's bigger, you can like find like a little bit more intimate places where you can like out. And of course I wouldn't just sit there and not order anything. I would like order the smallest thing. So I would order like a tea or like a small Sprite. Sometimes I was like my little like it's okay, like $1 or $2, just to show that I did spend some money to be there. And in retrospect, it was worth it to me. But the way I would do it, so if I had to, especially in the beginning, so I had to plan out what I was gonna make. So before before I even went into McDonald's, before I even thought about what I was gonna eat, I had to prep for it. So I had to think about what vegetables I'm gonna bring. I had to cut them beforehand and put them in the container. I had to gather all my ingredients and I put in my backpack, and plus the kettle in my backpack, and plus my laptop because I wasn't gonna be just sitting there. Because I like eating and watching a show. I know y'all do it. Don't judge me. I know y'all do it and eat something and watch a show. We all fucking do it. Um, so I'd prep all that, and when I have it prepped, I would bring this heavy backpack, okay, and I would bring it to the to the McDonald's, right? And I would just look like another student. I just look like another student who's drinking her tea, watching on her show, and sometimes, like most times, I would like sit on like a booth, and I'll be able to either, if it was like a little bit inconspicuous, I would have it on the table, but most of the times I would have it kind of beside me, the water kettle, as it was cooking. So it was funny because sometimes you'd see steam coming out, and and I had to like pretend I didn't know what was going on, but I did. So it was funny, like it was an experience. I put myself again in uncomfortable situations. It's where you grow. At the end of the day, who really cares? At the end of the day, who really gives a fuck? Like, really, what am I hurting anybody? Am I doing something really, really weird? Like, we're all eating here. Like, I bought something. Like, you know what I mean? So that was a little bit of a learning curve. Not gonna lie. That was especially the beginning of my trip where I really did that a lot. Now, during the summer months, because it was a little bit hotter, I was really trying to stick to eating salads. Um, I would make some, like, again, cutting up vegetables. I'm not into like lettuce and stuff like that, but I'm into spinach. I'm into like bean salads and stuff. Like the trick of like a really good bean salad, I would say, would be like it's like the cutting, like the chopping up. I did end up buying, which I really didn't like it, but it sufficed for the moment. It was like one of those like manual choppers, I would say. It's not that chop one, like when you're like pressing down. It's more like you hold it and there's like a string, so you're like pulling the string, and like the blade would move while you're like, you know what I mean, spinning. So it was like not electrical, so it was great. It worked for the time being. I think I didn't really like it that much because it chopped it up too fine. It was like, I don't know, I wasn't about it. And it was a hell of a mess to clean. Like, it was just so problematic. It has so many crevices. And because I don't have really like that much access to running water, it was just a hassle. And I think the second year I threw it out because it was too much, man. And it was not worth it. Um, so I resorted more to chopping with manually in my hand. Um, but on the days, because like sticking to schedules and routines sometimes can get kind of boring. So when I would step out of it and I was kind of like out of the routine, if I mean, I've I've had enough of the peanut butter sandwiches, like for breakfast. Like, sometimes I would reward myself with a little bit like a McDonald's breakfast. Oof, give me my griddle. Give me my griddle with two hash browns and a and an orange pico, steamed tea. That was like, oh, my kryptonite. My God, it's so good. Um, but but what I would do when I really like, it was like a healthier option. Aside from that, like, that was like my little, like, my guilty pleasure, I would say. But beside, like, the places that I would really like mainly go to eat healthier food, and unfortunately so, it was mostly like Ontario, Manitoba, um, and a little bit of Saskatchewan, but where you had like the Longos, the Fortinos, the Safeway, um, it was like a grocery store that's like a little bit higher end. And I know it because I used to work at them. where they had like the pre-salads, like the nice ones, the nice with the beans and stuff. Or they had like pre-made like chicken wings, or they had like pre-made like dips, like tuna dips or hummus dips or the heck. So because I kind of know how they are made, I was super down to buy them. They were not super inexpensive, and because I am living below my means, I was able to kind of like maybe do that once or twice a week, if I really needed to. Sometimes I really didn't do it. I applauded myself when I didn't spend money for 2 weeks, but it was a little bit hard in this lifestyle because you want to go out and explore, right? But that's kind of like my little like um my thing that I would do, where kind of like, so I would avoid it being so boring, right? Which is great. Like healthy food. Super about it. Sometimes I did buy soups, so I love it. It was good. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Like people, I don't know why people are so much like so concerned about it. I really don't know. But I guess I don't know. I really don't know why people are so concerned. But okay. So moving on to the second year. The second year is where I bossed up. I bossed up, bro. I bossed up. So on one of my returning from my first trip, my mom and I, or my family, my dad and I, and my mom, um, went to Walmart looking kind of like we were just like you were just there at Walmart going to buy stuff, and my mom saw this little small little pan, and hopefully I have a picture of it. Hopefully I do. If I don't, I'm sorry. um, but I have this little pan that it was electrical, okay, and it was. If I had to give you a picture for the people who are just listening, I would give you the impression of like, imagine a waffle maker. No, no, no. Imagine a pancake maker. Okay, one of those mini ones, but the lid was not attached, and like again, the base is still the heating, right? The heated base with the pan, like the ceramic material, because you can still cook on that. It was a little bit of a tiny little dome, right? Imagine pancake. But the lid was replaced with a detachable mini pan, which is about 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches thick. So you were able, and it had a lid on it too. Had a lid, like a legitimate glass lid with a little hole. You know what I'm talking about? The steam out, the steam out. So technically, it was like two pans in one, because you had the base where you put the pan on it, but that base also had the ceramic thing on it, so you can use it, right? It was fantastic. Literally changed everything for me. The little pan was so easy to clean. I could use it as literally a plate to eat off of it. And I made eggs. I was cooking. I was frying shit. I was meal prepping. I swear to God, I was making meal preps for myself. Even though, again, I never ended up buying ice. Not about that. But I was making it for like the next day and keeping it in the cooler. Especially on days that were shopping days that I had cold-ish stuff that I was gonna eat the next day, and I kind of be able to be preserved in there, right? I was okay. I was, I was like not testing my limits, but I was kind of testing them too. Um, I the like sometimes people worry about this stuff, but like, how did the cavemen live? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did they save it? Like it's just there's no like long-term preserving. I mean, I'm sure there was with the salt and like drying things, but like the next day, like how bad is it? Like I'm alive, okay? And expose yourself to those bad things sometimes to like get your immunity going. That's just me though. No tea, no shade to anybody who doesn't believe that. Don't tea or shade me either. Okay? We all live with our consequences. Um, because I just know I can already hear people tell me, "Ew, that's gross. That's gross. How can you do that? You have to keep it refrigerated, like all the time." Yo, chill, chill. I'm alive, okay? I'm alive. Um, I'm being real here. I'm being real. But it was so good, that pan, and it fit it was perfectly for my battery pack. Oh my God. And I came to the point where I was able to measure how long like frying an egg would take, or how long I can like have the pan, like the pan thing on, depending on how much battery I had. I was like so calculated. I was like, if I had this much percentage, I can have it. I can cook maybe 2 eggs. Like I was to that point. I was like, I was getting into it. I was in there. So that was really, really fun. And the one thing though, because I became so comfortable at this point now with having the pan and like um, not having to be somewhere to make food, I did end up cooking a lot in my car. And the stank, like thankfully, this was more in the summertime. So I had to be a little bit more cautious when I did open my windows because the food smell would come out. And especially because of my second year on my trip, I did end up being in BC first. It was so rainy, so I wasn't able to open my windows that much. Um, and BC is packed, like with so much people. So that little was a little bit of a hurdle itself. It being not super obvious that you're cooking in there because it would heat up because of the rain. Like the glass would be like foggy and shit. So it was a little bit of a hurdle. But it was fun regardless. But yeah, a little bit more on what I would buy essentially when I would go to buy food, grocery basically. So again, perishable items. I did again stock before I left, just because it's a little bit cheaper in the US. But I would buy again vegetables. I had to be really like vigilant on like coordinating if I was gonna use it or not. And if I was gonna eat it or not. I don't like food waste. I really hate it. And I'm not gonna lie, I did end up throwing some things away throughout my trip because I didn't coordinate really well. I felt so guilty. Um, doing that. I feel so shitty. But it is what it is. It's real life. I make mistakes. I as long as like I'm trying to be vigilant about it, and I do understand that there are consequences. Wasting money was one. Uh, as long as I understand that, I feel like I'm not that bad. You know, as long as I'm not going like, who gives a fuck? I don't care. No, I'm not like that. Um, there is the occasional banana or onion that would go go brown. I'm sorry. But it was all good. Like I don't know. Again, I keep mentioning like I really don't understand like the whole big ass concern. I feel like lots of people can live without a heat source to make food. Like, I swear, like beans, you can buy a can of beans. You just need a can opener and put some spices and some vegetables, and you got a salad. That's a full on meal. And, like, I don't see the big thing. But that's, I mean, people are curious. I understand. Um, and it's valid. It's valid. Let me go ahead and look at some of these questions that I have prepped for myself in case I miss anything. Mm, let's see. So let me go. Let me walk you through here a typical day of what it would look like. So I'm gonna give you 2 days. I'm gonna give you a weekday and a weekend because they're both different. A weekday would look like I would work. I would wake up, of course, and start working. And at this point, I was taking calls, so I was able to like. Well, I either did it before work or I did it like a little bit in the beginning, just because I had some time to do like to be attentive while I was moving my hands. I would make myself a peanut butter sandwich. I would cut some bananas, drizzle some honey on it. Again, all non-perishable items, aside from the banana, of course. The banana, yes, but banana is necessary. Is good. So I would have a peanut butter sandwich with the banana and the honey on it, or if I had some jam. The jams only came if I went to Denny's and it had little pockets. So I'm gonna be that person. So whenever I went to Denny's, I was snatching those up. In the lunchtime, I would make either a salad, or either eat a meal prep that I had. Sorry, give me 1 second. So yeah, I'll either make a salad, bean salad, tuna salad. Um, Sometimes I did find myself with some extra time, with a little bit slow at work, so I would make myself a little fried egg. Maybe like cut some onions, cause eggs and onions. Onions, garlic are my two main bitches. Those are my two main bitches when it comes to cooking. Um, so either put an egg, sometimes I put with beans in there too. I wouldn't want like a little fry, little beans and stuff. Um, but yeah, it was, I mean, all good stuff. So either I would eat it with more bread, or I would have a wrap, or I would eat with some like nice tortillas. I mean tortilla chips, right? It's just like scooping it up and eating it. Like, ah, it sounds good to me, you know. I'm not sure if I'm being too basic, but it is what I ate. It's realistic. So that's what I ate during lunchtime. And then dinner time, I would try to have a little bit, like, it depends. Sometimes lighter, depending on what I was doing. If I was going to the gym that day, I would try to eat a little heavier so I wouldn't be so hungry later. If I was not going to the gym, I try to eat a little bit lighter. It would kind of be kind of the same as lunch. Um, but I had more time, so I would either like cut some more vegetables up, or maybe if I had time, I would go to a library or the McDonald's and cook something, or like cook while I'm also charging, because like I had to take that into account too. If I was cooking something, I had to take into account that if this battery pack was gonna last me for tomorrow as well for my computer. Um, or if I did not, I would go to the library or to the McDonald's and cook while I was charging, so I wouldn't have to use that. So I'd be like super good for the next day or two. So it's a lot of small calculations that you take into account. I think that is the main question that I would be asking, but of course, to each their own. um, but yeah, so that's it's kind of the same. It's not that I wasn't like super out. I do have a little bit more of a routine in regard when it comes to food, because if I have a couple of dishes that I already know off the back of my hand, it's less thinking for me. And because this lifestyle requires so many minute thinking, like decisions you have to make every single day, um, it was good to alleviate that with some like stable, solid food dishes that I can make. Um, One of them that I really did enjoy as well, if I had a lot of time in the middle of the week, and I wasn't really doing, like, I had no gym, I had nothing after, I would like saute some onions in my little pan, and then I would then I would cook my eggs and put a little tuna in there. I was making a heavy meal. And then I would have that pan, and I have my two tortillas. I like slather mayonnaise on, because you cannot skip on that mayonnaise. And I would put the little onions, and then the egg, and then I would like sprinkle my a little bit more seasoning on top of it, and you drizzle some ketchup on there, the ketchup packets, because I cannot store ketchup. And then maybe make myself a little tea. Um, but yeah, it was some good shit. Yeah, I was spending some good time, you know. And of course, one of the things that I always tried to do is, if I was cooking in my car, which again, this is another pro of it being like, even though your car is gonna be smelly, but it's another pro of you cooking in your car, that you can choose what view. So a lot of times I cooked the view of like a lake or like a park, like really nice and chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, beautiful. And thankfully my car had, like, if you guys know the Chevy Cruze, it has like a little bit of an indent where the screen is. You can like put your phone there. It's not meant for the phone, but you could like place your phone on there. And so that's what I would do. I would put my phone there. I'd be like watching my show while I was cooking. It was just so chill. I swear to God. It was fire. And I would do all of this on my driver's seat. So driver's seat had everything. And again, my passenger seat would have all my stuff. So I even had like a little like what do I say, a little like mini tray table thing to the right, so it wouldn't stain my seat. And I would have everything on there packed, like my plates, my knife, like my knife, my fork, my one knife, my one fork, small things. It just became so organized that I can just know exactly where the thing was and I can just reach and get it. Sometimes it really pissed me off. It's part of the deal that when you're cooking on like, because again, I had this little like tray that you can attach to the steering wheel. When I was cooking on this tray, and because it was plastic, I have to be like vigilant on like holding up the plastic because it would be like warming up and kind of like downfalling, like leaning towards like down towards me. And so this thing was hot, so I had to like maintain it. I had to like kind of balance it out, and I had to really be remember that when I started this cooking process, when I plugged it in, I was not able to move because it was too hot to hold. Like I had little towels that can grab it, but it was like too much to do in this little small space. So if I forgot something, I was fucked. Like I can't reach over, and because I would be like possibly touching the tray on the wheel, the steering wheel, and like it was just scary. I might burn myself. So it never happened because I was very vigilant on it, but there were times that I was like I missed on placing what I wanted to put in here because I can't reach it and I already turned it on, or like it's already halfway there. And I can't just be like, I just turn it off and turn it back on again. Because you're like wasting energy. You're wasting, and you had this set time, you had this set energy in your in your battery pack to make this certain amount of food. And now if you plug it in and out, it's gonna waste more because I have to restart again. So sometimes, it was a work in progress, but at the end of my second year trip, I kind of got the hang of it. So not that bad, not that bad. Where was I going with this? Okay, now the weekend one. Now for a weekend, because I had more time, again, it kind of was similar to the one I just mentioned, where like I was able to make more, spend more energy because I was able to have the weekend to put energy into the battery pack. So I would spend more time making food. Um, you know, I would also use the weekends to either go out and buy like the pre-made salads and stuff like that. Sometimes I would like add a little slice of cake in there, or buy myself a little thing of cookies, buy myself a Coke, a nice cold Coke. You can't replace that. You can't. Um, I think I also treated myself too sometimes, especially in Vancouver, BC, because it was a rough time for me, like in regards to like the atmosphere and like the weather in Vancouver. Again, I was there for 3 months. Because again, there are so many things to do in BC, so many things to do, and this was a place that I really was like, I cannot wait to go, and I don't know if I'm gonna be coming back or not, just because it's so far away. Like it's literally like probably flying there, probably like 10 hours. Imagine driving. So, because I want to take advantage fully of Vancouver, I stayed 3 months, and 2 out of 3 months it was raining consistently every day. And for me, that's really depressing. Like there was no sun, rain. And if you know me, pet peeve, getting wet with clothes on. So in order for you to go out and do things, you're like getting wet every single time. Ah, what a struggle. What a struggle. What a fucking first world struggle. Honestly. I sound like such a brat sometimes when I say that shit, but it's annoying to me. Like I'm already like putting myself in an uncomfortable position, and this just made it really unbearable. So what I would do to kind of give myself some like goodness, some grace, I would like buy myself a McDonald's breakfast, um probably 2-3 times a week. I'm not lying. And it became really bad of a habit, that I collected so many points. But again, my order was, and again, I know I'm as vegetarian as I can be, but this was just like a really hard time for me, and I wanted to have like some goodness, some soul filling food for me, anyways. And it was like the McGriddle, the sausage and egg McGriddle, Oh, so good with two hash browns or and a hot coffee or a hot tea. Mm. And sometimes if I was really going out, like out of like I was stepping out and I was like, I need some more, I would get myself like a nice chocolate muffin. Oh my god. Those breakfasts were like I was like waiting for them. I was like, I can't wait for Monday because I'm gonna make breakfast in the morning. Like I was like saving them. Or like sometimes in the weekend I'll wake up and like go do that. It was just so fun. Again, like when it comes to food, it being Canada, I wasn't expecting to like eat like high end cuisine that was so different because it's Canada. Like unfortunately, so this is a multicultural country, very multicultural. But because it's so multicultural, I don't know how can I put this. It's very multicultural, but also kind of basic. Like a Canadian, what they eat, like a typical non-immigrant Canadian born, like bloodline Canadian. Like if I had to guess what their food was, it was quite basic. Um whether it be like sandwiches, like regular like ham and cheese sandwiches or like poutine. I'm not a fan of poutine, I'm sorry. I just there's just no like staple aside from like maple syrup, or like Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, no shade, I love Tim Hortons, but it's a very basic thing to go out and get. It's a coffee shop, so I wasn't expecting so much to like expand my cuisine horizons. Um, but on the weekends though, I would like again take myself out. I would go eat Vietnamese food. I love Vietnamese food. I love pho. Oh my god, I love pho. I love Asian food. Um, I would go eat like Chinese food on like a Chinese store and like it would I would have it for the for 2 days because I would there's so much like if you eat Chinese food you know they give you so much. So I was like I would buy it and I'd be able to eat the next day. I would buy pizza when I could and I was accessible to a toilet. But it was good. Like I was comfortable. I was comfortable. I wasn't my sauce, I wasn't like super experimenting. I was just comfortable. And I think it was good because again, living in a car is not ideally comfortable. So there's that little balance, right? Of something consistent that you know and something that you kind of don't in a way, right? So I think it was a happy medium in my opinion. Um, let me see here. So thinking back now, I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like, would I change anything in regards to uh food? I mean, the fact of not, and again, I keep watching people who live this lifestyle and who have vans and stuff like that, and the majority of them have like an electric cooler, like one that actually cools food and you can store your food. Because I don't know, I just don't find a really big necessity for me because again, I can't have, and I don't want to have yogurt, milk, you know. I did buy like when it came to my making my coffee because I didn't make coffee. Like I made my own coffee, the instant coffee, and the way that I would put creamer in it, the non-dairy creamer was the ones you can buy in Dollarama, the individual packets. I know it's not super environmentally friendly. I didn't have that many options. But that was one of the better options for me. It was non-dairy, and you didn't have to put it in any fridge. It was like a non-perishable kind of item, kind of probably lasts for 2 years, but I was using it by then. So I would put two or three there in my coffee, and that would suffice. So I really don't have a really super need of having something cooled and maintained. The one, like, if I really have to think about it, what I really did miss, and I wish I did have a cooler at those moments, would be when I was making smoothies because I did also have like a portable smoothie that I can charge, like one of those, like you've seen those, like the ones on like you can buy on Temu, and then you can like click a button and like the whole blender blend. And it's also like the cup you can drink out of. Um, I did wish I had frozen fruit because I don't like warm smoothies. I don't like warm smoothies. So that's something I wish I did have. Um, and sometimes I do like having yogurt. I know it's not the best for me, but I don't have a lot of dairy, so I think I also need some calcium. So I do whenever I did end up going buying at Walmart or something, food. If I did end up buying like those drinkable yogurts or a yogurt, I had to have it the day of, or at least minimum the maximum, I guess, is the day after because it could not last another day in that cooler. Uh, Depending on the weather too as well. If it was a hot time, no way. No way. I was not saving anything like that in my cooler because it would not last. But I'm like, especially in the beginning of the second year, it being in Vancouver and it was cool, I was able to do it. It was okay. So I had to take that into account. So, but that's what I'm saying. It would have been a lot easier if I did have a fridge of sorts. I do see the convenience of it, but I feel like it'd be more convenient if you're one who eats meat, again, storing more dairy. I just didn't find the real big necessity because of my eating habits. So, uh to each your own. If it is something that you really want, um, go ahead. But for me, I don't think it was like super necessary. So that's me. Um, but yeah, I do. One thing I do like is having cold fruit. Give me a cold tangerine, a cold mandarin. 'Cause I don't like. Like I eat more fruit when it's cold, which is really kind of stupid. But nah, not really. It is what it is. I like eating cold fruit. But yeah, I guess it wasn't the same, you know. And sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I kind of risk it with the mayonnaise. Um, I did buy smaller containers, and I did keep it at the bottom of my car in order to keep it as cool as possible. There were some times that I was like, I cannot eat the rest of this mayonnaise. It's out. I can't. It smells like it was. It was a lot of like because I didn't have a fridge. It was a lot of me opening things and like smelling, because smell is like the first indicator if something goes bad or if something has gone bad. Smell was the first indicator, so a lot of times I would have to throw things out again, as I mentioned before, wasting food, unfortunately. So the smell first kind of gave it off. Um, so sometimes I wish I can make it last longer, or I can have some cold mayonnaise, you know. But it is what it is. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like I think it probably annoyed me 15% of the time, 20 most. But I can make do. Um, let's see. In regards to budgeting, uh it was because I mean again, the things that I eat um were I don't think they're that expensive. Beans, vegetables to a certain extent can be expensive, but like tomatoes, onions, sometimes I would buy those pre-made packages, salad packages at Walmart. They'll last me about a day or two, depending what I ate it with. I talked about tuna. Tuna is probably $1. You know, it was a lot of like if I could, I would eat like things from Dollarama. If I was really stepping out and didn't want to eat healthy-ish, there were those like instant like pasta things. So it wasn't like super expensive. I'd probably be spending about $30, and that was like me coming back from the store and like filling up my car, like my storage area, my passenger seat. There were times that I was like, fuck, I bought too much. Like you sometimes forget that you don't have a lot of space. So I had to be really, again, vigilant and like taking note and thinking, if I'm going out shopping on Thursday and knowing myself that I'm cooking less on the weekends, am I gonna buy the same as if I was buying on a Sunday, knowing that I have the whole week ahead of me? You know what I mean? And sometimes I did fuck up, like I did mess up. But the more I did it, the more mess ups I made, the more I realized that I was like, damn, I really gotta be watching what I buy. Um, but yeah, and thankfully so because I am buying more throughout the like more times I think than usual. than someone would buy because I'm eating in the moment. Like I'm buying to eat things the day of. I would buy things on sale because they're like today's the last day or nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm always looking for a deal. Always looking for a deal. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. It was not complicated. I don't think that it's such a big deal to. I mean, in my case, again, I don't eat dairy. I don't eat meat. You know. And if I wasn't eat chicken, I'm buying the ready-made chicken. And I'm eating it the day of or the day after at most. At most. But that fried chicken, you know what? Something I really loved. I loved buying was the fried chicken, whether it be from the Longos or the higher end grocery store or the Walmart, and then buying a salad. So the chicken with the fried chicken with the salad, you know, that salad that's that kale one. You know what I'm talking about? That kale one with the poppy seeds and stuff. Delicioso. Delicioso. But it was good. It was good. I have literally had no complaints. But I think that's it. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Oh, one thing I'm gonna mention though is that my water canteen, because water's important. Water be important. I gotta make my coffee. Um, Water's important. So my canteen would last me on a normal day 3 days. So I would usually bring it with me to the gym to go fill it up at the gym. If it was a really, really hot day, it would be every other day sometimes, which was really rough because I would use it for drinking water. I would use it for cleaning. Um, but yeah, and last thing I want to mention before I do forget is the way I make my coffee. So when I first started making my coffees in the first year, what did I do? I think I would buy coffee to be honest, because I had nothing to heat it up. The water kettle was outy. Or I would have try to save hot water than the day before when I was making food in a thermos. Didn't really work out that well. So the following year, the second year, I ended up buying, and it's the only way I can compare it. It's like a little like it's a plug-in with the metal and like it's a little twirl at the end. The metal twirls. It's like a water heater that you can put in water, so it boils water in it. I've used it when I've gone to go visit India. I've never seen before in my life. But it was a small one that you can put in a cup. So imagine like I put in a cup here and I can like the water be boiling and stuff like that. That's where I really started making like my hot drinks. 'Cause I can't cook with that. It's not sanitary. So I'd only be able to boil water. That's the only way I was comfortable doing that. So I'd boil the water like that, and that's how I make my coffee. If not, I believe I still like I make like cold coffee. I like I like iced coffee too. So it was either one of those two. But yeah, that's basically it. It's not that super complicated to be honest. It's just regards to preference. But since y'all asked and y'all keep asking me what the fuck I eat, that's it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was super liberating for me to finally kind of say what I would be eating because this was such a recommended, like such a question that everyone asked me. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. I hope that was a little learning aspect to it, and kind of take into account of what you prefer to be handling your daily eating habits and how to maintain that routine is a super big one, and comfortability. And just figuring out what you like and what works for you. But yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And stay blessed, stay good, stay humble, and peace and love. Have a good day. On the road, Sophia on the road, Sophia.